Hello, welcome all of you here once again in another session, and we discuss one more fantastic, honestly, I would love to say, live mock from Oliveboard side, which has not only relevance but also that difficulty level that if we get accustomed to this, we won't find anything new in the actual examination. Before I start, let me say we have this offer, the blockbuster preparation sale, which ends tomorrow. Oh, sorry, today, 3rd of November. One can use the code PREP, P-R-E-P, and get flat 58% off on, I think, each and every subscription, but you are suggested to check once before you grab any subscription. Flat 58% off using the code PREP, whether for railways, SSC, test series, batches, or the super elite in which you get access to everything at once. The test was one more such that I thought I'll finish this in 15-20 minutes, but I could not. So RCs are left. Will solve live with you as we have done it twice. I just attempted 30 questions. That's it. We'll solve those 3 RCs live here. So let's start without any delay. You have a look. I reduce the brightness so that it must be even clearer. Here we go. Good evening, everyone here. Vaishnavi, Raman, Babli, Abhijit, good evening, brother. Radhika, Kajal, Radhe Radhe, Jai Ma Kali. Let's start. The power became extended. The whole government, however, was exercised by a small body of wealthy aristocratic families at home. It was such a government as that of England at the present day. Only the aristocracy of England is based on ancient birth and landed property, whereas in it blank space on that. Leo, welcome. Okay, I was amazed. Timidly, it shouldn't be timidly. Power became timidly extended. Timid is actually the one who doesn't have courage. It's not a word to extend power. Got it. Elimination. Power cannot be mentally extended. We are not imagining or dreaming here. Dropped. Now, either sprightly, remember in the advertisements also, Sprite, have fun, the same Sprite, cold drink, has the adverb form. So maybe because of that lively sense, but lively extended, not that appropriate. If you extend your power, then I read the passage again, to be honest, a little further. The aristocracy and such. The great mass of this, there was a line which clarified that yes, it is fine. Just a sec. No problem. I'll mention that there was a line. Yes. Particularly this one. Particularly this one. The aristocracy of controlled and governed everything. Now I can see the dominance. Now I can see the dominance. Yes, it was greatly extended. It was extended, probably slightly. It was greatly extended. For the word extend, timid, mental is not appropriate. Better than any lively or enthusiasm manner to extend. It was greatly extended. Absolutely. Um, the aristocracy of England is based on this, whereas here it blank space on that. Hello? The aristocracy of England is based on this, whereas here it is based on that. I would say based. Welcome, Chivalrous. Good evening. Exactly. Decay? There is no organic matter that can be decayed. Deposit? Not talking about teeth and such. Depended? Yes. Based on, depended on, quite the same because the author is defining the same stuff in two different situations. Divided into, not the correct preposition. Depended on that. But it's blank space, sons could get the power. It's wider sons. Sons can be wide. Great. It's tumultuous sons. Great. If sons can be tumultuous. Obviously, my own son, his own daughter, etc. When you talk about son, you may show possession, that's it. Sons cannot be wide, that's not a ball. Tumultuous, uproar, great noise, chaos, detailed. How can sons be detailed? Showing possession for power. We better know that. Dynasty. Okay, last but not the least. Last, here. The government of an oligarchy makes sometimes a very rich and powerful state. The positive statement, but a discontented and blank space people. So the rest half was positive. I see discontented negative. So I think should be something negative here. Good evening, Saloni. Exactly. Satisfied cannot be here with discontented. Sufficient? No. Appreciable? No. All are positive. Just one negative choice. Discontented, unhappy. I remember probably in CGL 2017 also it was there. Will o' the Wisp. Welcome Nancy, good evening. Don't be. Jai Jinendra. Will of the Wisp. No, Abhijit. No. Actually, it feels like. Remember that? During school, we were taught in physics, if I'm not wrong, you are driving or in a car or train or bus particularly, or car, not train. Far away, we see there is water. Yes, yes, there is water on the road. Remember that effect? But when we go near, we find there was no water. So it looks like, but it doesn't exist. The same way. Something which you feel is there, but it is not. So cannot be achieved. Will anything that we want? Will of the wisp out there in that on the clouds, on the sky there, we cannot achieve that even if we see that. How beautiful that cloud is, but we cannot see that. Something unattainable which cannot be achieved. No, 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 no. No. I agree with my example. You can go this way, create an illusion for the others, but feel the words. Create an illusion for the others. No one is creating anything for the others. Welcome, Bhavna. Kya baat hai? Thank you for the words. Mrig Trishna. Those who understand Hindi can relate to this. Mrig Trishna. We feel that is there, but that's not. So you can't achieve that. You can't get that. Thank you for the insights. Welcome with a boundary. India are the winners. Welcome, Hemlata. Good evening, hey dear. This was impressive. Okay, those who are regular and you know subjunctive mood, imagine in the past tense, how can you use V1 with the subject, no V2? And that's not a universal truth or something statistics or habit or like that, which remains no change. That's subjunctive. I order, you go there. It's recommended that he join this post. So that's present subjunctive. You can feel this. The coach urged that the players practice their strategies more intensively for the final. The coach said players practiced. Already V2 will be past perfect. Impossible. Are practicing will be were practicing. Impossible. Practice will be practiced. Just this mood, you should do that. Remember, I suggest you do that. I suggest you should do that. The only possibility. Rest of those will change into past. Gulshan, great, great. Keep up the good work, brother. Huge amount of support and motivation from my side. Not easy in this test. Agree, not easy in this test. All the very, very best for the upcoming tests and the actual examination also. Great. Better start with the auxiliaries, not prepositions and all. I won't count this until I find nothing correct. Okay. Essential kits were, but that's assertive. Okay. Did, but in the passive voice we cannot use did. In the passive voice we cannot use did. Is that okay? Yes, that's okay. Kits were distributed to displaced and all by them. So were those kits distributed to them by them? Absolutely. Exactly. She said you must do that. Must itself doesn't have a past form, but it feels like you have to do that. Has a past form. Had to. If it were unavailable, A would have been the answer. Okay, I have to. In the past tense, you can't say have to. I attended will be I attend. What about the model? What about the mood? Impossible, impossible. Only these two. Priority goes to because in the past, must will not convey the meaning of past. Had to is a better choice. A better choice. I repeat, if it were not available, A would have been the answer. Yes, exactly. Last before we all go live. Okay, not a common word. Body, B-A-W-D-Y, is actually the same. Elimination you can also feel. Vulgar, negative. Not decent, decent personality. No, indecent, negative. Lewd is also the same. Chastise, I hope many of you have gone through one words, chastise. Absolutely, Bhavna. Pure. To make someone pure. Chastise. So that'll be pure. These are the impure variations, especially about sexual matters, body, vulgar, indecent, lewd, about sexual matters. That's the pure one. Abstaining from all. Absolutely. Let's go live. I'll be solving with you. The final decades of 19th century witnessed a frenetic and unprecedented period of expansion known as Scramble of Africa. For Africa, in a span of just 30 years, nearly the entire continent, once largely autonomous, was carved up and claimed by a handful of European powers. This rapid subjugation was driven by a potent cocktail of motivations. Economically, the Industrial Revolution had created an insatiable appetite for raw materials like rubber, copper, diamonds, palm oil, while also necessitating new markets for manufactured goods. Africa, rich in resources and with a vast population, was seen as the ultimate solution. Politically, the era was defined by intense nationalistic rivalries. Possessing a vast overseas empire was a symbol of global power and prestige, and nations like Britain, France, newly unified Germany competed fiercely for strategic footholds and territorial dominance. Great. The competitive rush was underpinned by a powerful ideological justification. Just a sec. Competitive rush was underpinned by a powerful ideological justification. Paternalistic and racist attitudes fueled by social Darwinist theories cast Africans as inferior, in need of Western guidance. So-called civilizing mission in the spread of Christianity provided a moral veneer for economic exploitation and political conquest, framing imperialism as a noble, although burdensome duty. The mounting tensions between these European rivals threatened to spill over into open conflict. Prevent this, German Chancellor convened the conference of 84 and 85. In a crucial and damning historical fact, no African leaders were invited to participate. The conference did not partition Africa itself, but rather established the rules for its orderly division. Formalized the principle of effective occupation, meaning a colonial power could only claim a territory if it had established a tangible presence on ground, such as administrators, troops, trade posts. This edict, intended to regulate the process, instead dramatically accelerated it, launching a frantic race to plant flags, assert control. Consequences for Africa were catastrophic. Borders drawn in Berlin were geometric lines on the map, imposed with a complete disregard of the existing ethnic, linguistic, and political boundaries. Artificial frontiers shattered pre-existing polities, lumped rival groups together, and divided cohesive societies, sowing the seeds for decades of ethnic strife, civil wars, political instability that continue to shape the continent even today. Okay, you and I are the same here, live. So what was the main purpose of the conference according to the passage? Straight, I think. Straight. No. Hello? See, this conference, no African leaders were invited, first of all. So the conference did not partition Africa, but rather established the rules for the orderly division. I'm sure you can see this. No, 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 no. Exactly, exactly. To partition Africa, no. Immediately among those powers, no. To invite African leaders to negotiate, but African leaders were not invited. To establish rules for the orderly division of African territories. Yep, to end the rivalries. In the last lines, you remember, rivalries even got, welcome, good evening, Mohini. So, establish rules for the orderly revision. Next, which factor was not a motivation behind the scramble for Africa as described in the passage? The demand for raw materials, nationalistic rivalries, and the pursuit of global prestige, the moral justification of a civilizing mission, and the initiative of African leaders to voluntarily join European empires. Absolutely. See, you can see two lines over here in this first paragraph itself, which was not a motivation. That means those remaining three have to be. The demand for raw materials and new markets due to that. Economically, the Industrial Revolution has created demand for raw materials like this and that. So A is correct, cannot be the answer. Then we can see the same paragraph mentioning the era was defined by intense nationalistic rivalries. Nationalistic rivalries were also there. The civilization part is also mentioned, creating a civ. Yes, the so-called civilizing mission provided a moral for economic exploitation and political conquest. So that was also there. Nobody voluntarily joined there. They were just holding that power. Voluntarily, no one did that. So what type of determiner is the word these? Need not check the passage. Done. Yes. 6 words in English: this, that, these, those, such, and one. This is a digital pen. That's my house. These people, those people. These are the demonstrative pronouns if they are used alone, or demonstrative adjectives if they have a noun after them. So you have determiner, all of them, not interrogative, not asking questions, possessive, not showing possession, not distribution, either, neither, all, both, my, his, own, who, whom, demonstrative. What is the best meaning of the word mounting? Tensions were mounting. That was easy. I should have done this. No problem. Obviously, Mount Everest, Mount, is something not diminished or there in the pitfalls. There, up. So if something is mounting, is actually increasing. That's it. Need not check the others. Resolved? No, 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 no. Mounting. Remaining constant? No. Mounting. Diminishing? Why? Mounting. Quite opposite. Just grab the main subject. Just grab the main object. Just grab the main verb. Done. It looks long, but has just one word to eliminate all the options. Absolutely. Nancy, Bhavna. Perfect. Skilled artisans, handcrafted sculptures. I don't care about those non-finites. That means you should not. You should, once you see close options together, that is also fine, that is also fine. Now let's eliminate. First and foremost, verb. They handcrafted, V2. So sculptures were handcrafted by them. Were. Integrate sculptures were handcrafted. I think it is correct. Not sure. Um, uh, Skill, but that's active. No, 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 no. Is handcrafted. Impossible. That is past, not present, and the subject is going to be plural, not singular. Nope. Had been. Why? Done. Need not read the whole sentence if your verb has elimination. No. This was the most difficult question of the set. Obviously, that straight line models take fresh even the bare infinitive after them. We must find a solution. You must prioritize. No SES after models. He will called you. They will start done. Because impossible, impossible, impossible. Obviously, the committee decided to send invitations to the daughters-in-laws, not at both the places. At least drop this. Countable figure, the main noun, the chief noun, the principal noun, in-law. That's it. That's it. Annual charity event is all correct. What's wrong in that? Impossible. Fraction C, but option A, take care of this. Those silly mistakes must not cost you marks. They hired a coach to train the team. Hemlata. He boarded the coach at dawn for the long journey. This is the coach, like for a game, sports, cricket, hockey, we have a coach. That's the train one. Quite different. Okay. What about the other options? Coach worked with the players, but that's the same. They praised the coach for the planning. Probably the coach. Same. Department arranged the coach for practice sessions. Yes, again for the team. Same, same, same. The homonym one. That was problematic for. Yes, coach will be that bhavna. Dabba. S2, S3, S4, B1, B2. Chivalrous, which coach do you want? The answer one for a train? Dabba. You understand? S1, S2, S3, B1, B2, those ones. They are the coaches in a train. Of a train. After the engine, all are the coaches. I did the same, but probably that was marked wrong. Yes. Oh, for the topper also that went wrong. All of us thinking the same way, no problem. I did take time, but That was my conclusion. The prosecutor was presented some evidence. The prosecutor is not presented evidence. And the rest of the sentence is also mentioning to the judge. So it's the active voice which is needed, not the passive one. The prosecutor will present evidence to the judge. Active voice. I did the same. This is redundant. Drop it. The prosecutor just presented some evidence files to the presiding judge. Fine, but that was marked wrong. Probably they thought, that the sentence was all correct till this point. The prosecutor was anism the description from their side. However, we were correct 100%. It's just about the matter of fractions. Active voice is needed for sure. Yes. The segment just presented is incorrect because was should be followed. Come on. Ambiguity, that's it. No. Presiding, actually. Remember, preside is to be the head of something. I presided a meeting because I was the head out there. And the head of the whole nation, preside, president, reside, resident. Nancy. Both are correct. I still think dropping was a better decision. No problem. Okay, it feels like typical SSC. Those who have been, they remember a couple of answers from their side I have heard go wrong. One of them, no problem. We were correct, but no problem. No problem. Present participle. Spelling is different. Just a sec. No, that's preside. President. Presiding. Your spelling is wrong. Please check once. Obviously, fortitude, fort. For a king has to be strong. Courage, synonym. Weakness, antonym. Hesitation, antonym. Anxiety, total antonym. Fortify. No problem. Do the same again. Pick the verb and its passive tone. Done. Quite a few times it's done just with the help of verb in English. See, let me check. The director launched a campaign. The director launched a campaign. Past indefinite. The director launched a campaign, but that's active. Campaign is launched, impossible. A campaign was launched, had been. Why? But sir, let me read the whole sentence. You should read when it has close options. For such, I think seconds will be sufficient just to eliminate. Ambitious, adjective. Marketing, adjective. Director, subject. Strategically, adverb. We'll take care of that. Launched. So the director launched a campaign. A campaign was launched. Done. Avijit. That was another ambiguous one, I think. A sentence is provided in indirect speech. Choose the one which has the direct speech. We came to know that government had announced new policies. But I clicked B, to be honest. What's wrong in B? The government has announced present perfect becomes past perfect. Equal. Okay, that is correct. I agree. But that is also correct. Present perfect becomes past perfect. Past indefinite becomes past perfect. That way, past perfect remains no change. Still not able to get why that was given preference. However, the one who is using or saying something must be using the present tense. Why would he use the past tense? I'm sorry, I may be wrong. Nobody's perfect. But I still think has is a better choice in the direct narration. In the direct narration, why would you mention something of past? Um, no problem. Government third person, no change. Non-finite, not change. Past perfect had announced shifts to simple past, but past perfect is also present perfect, or present perfect goes to past perfect. So that is ambiguity. No, no. Another ambiguous one. Please correct me if I'm missing something. Please correct me, honestly, if I'm missing something. But all of you know present perfect also goes past perfect. So what's wrong in this? And usually the one who is speaking uses present tense. In examinations, we barely come across such, but one more, making us feel typical SSC. No problem. No problem. Yep. The dynamic sales representatives will be negotiating future continuous. Okay, this is no sarcasm from my. Yes, Himlata, that's what I said. Generally, we don't transform future continuous into passive, but I've always said if they are giving a question, they are giving options, you just need to pick. That's it. That's it. Exactly. Uh, they will be negotiating the contracts. The contracts will be being negotiated by them. They will negotiate. What about be and third form? That's not even passive. Uh, I can't, will be negotiated, but there is no ing here. Uh, are being, but that was future. Without even looking at that, the answer, because that's not possible, not possible, not possible. To drink from the poisoned well was totally new, but I inferred and got this correct. If you drink from the poisoned well, what are you supposed to? Obviously, if we drink from the poisoned well, obviously we'll be suffering from diseases, we'll be getting ill and such. To engage in questionable acts, maybe, but morally questionable cannot be poisoned well. No, no, no. Moral questions cannot be even idiomatically called poisoned well. Moral things are not poison. No, it cannot be the answer. Share resources generously. The tone is negative. How can you use generous? Gain power. But if I'm drinking from poisoned well, I don't think so I'm getting any power. Most importantly, I'll be suffering from dangerous consequences. That's it. It was totally new, so correct. If you comment even 3,000 times, the question is not going to get change. Have a look for your convenience. And as per the options, we have to follow the same. But that's not passive. But that's not passive. Got it, got it, got it, got it. But instructions can be wrong. I hope you are listening to me saying it for the last time. This is not passive. Passive is B plus V3. Doesn't matter what the instructions say, this is not passive. So you can't transform its active. Passive is B plus V3. आप पढ़ लीजिए भाई. चलिए आपसे हिंदी में बात कर लेता हूँ. टॉकिंग टू हिम इन हिंदी. ऊपर पढ़ने से व्याकरण चेंज तो नहीं होगा दिल से. अरे देवता नीचे तो पढ़ लो. प्रभु सिर्फ ऊपर पढ़ के आंसर हो जाएगा क्या? पहले ये तो पढ़ लो जिस क्वेश्चन का एक्टिव पैसिव पूछा है. आपकी समझ है, कोई बात नहीं. पहले एसएससी के एग्जाम दीजिए, फिर आपको समझ आ जाएगी. आपकी समझ से एसएससी नहीं चलती, और मैच्योरिटी बेटा थोड़ा टाइम लेती है. नहीं मिलेंगे मार्क्स, डोंट वरी. क्वेश्चन के इंस्ट्रक्शंस रॉन्ग हैं, पर क्वेश्चन बिल्कुल सही है और ऑप्शन बिल्कुल सही है. नहीं मिलेंगे, बाकी आपके असम्पशंस. थैंक यू. कोई बात नहीं, आप पेपर देंगे तो समझ में आएगा. ऐसे घर बैठकर और सिर्फ ऐसे देखने से काम नहीं चलता. आई अग्री इंस्ट्रक्शंस गलत हैं, बट उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. बाकी आपकी मर्जी. सॉरी. अब आप एसएससी से बात करो भाई, मैं तो वहां ऑफिशियली नहीं बैठा हूं. आप बात कीजिए, जो हो अप टू यू. थैंक यू. मैं तो कोई हुई नहीं बीच में मीडिएटर. अगर इसके इंस्ट्रक्शंस लिखे आ जाएं कि गिवन आरसी में पूछे गए क्वेश्चंस का आंसर दीजिए, तो आप इसको आरसी समझ के सॉल्व करेंगे या पैराजंबल? प्लीज ट्रस्ट मी, ऐसा नहीं होता. बाकी आपकी मर्जी. अपने हक से कह सकता हूं, बाकी जैसे आप चाहें. वही वही समझा रहा हूँ भाई. एग्जाम में इतना टाइम, यही मैं कह रहा हूँ. अब समझे आप दिल से. एग्जाम में इतना टाइम हमारे पास नहीं होता. हमें दिखा एक्टिव पैसिव का क्वेश्चन है, तो एक्टिव दिया है तो पैसिव निकाल लेंगे, पैसिव दिया है तो एक्टिव निकाल लेंगे. यही कह रहा हूँ, आप समझे शायद. जैसे ये पैराजंबल है तो पैराजंबल सॉल्व करेंगे. मैं क्यों इंस्ट्रक्शंस पढ़ूंगा? सम सेंटेंसेस आर गिवन द फर्स्ट एंड लास्ट. दिख रहा है S1 S6. हाँ अग्री गलत है, मैं उल्टा नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि वो सही है, बट हम एग्जाम में ध्यान नहीं देते. अब हाँ, ये फीडबैक मैं दे सकता हूँ. थैंक यू फॉर योर वर्ड्स. ये फीडबैक मैं बिल्कुल दे सकता हूँ. आई प्रॉमिस आई विल शेयर योर फीडबैक. पक्का, प्रॉमिस. अग्री टू व्हाट यू से. बट ट्रस्ट मी, कभी कभी एसएससी भी खुरापात करती है. पक्का. हाँ, फीडबैक आपका पहुंच जाएगा पक्का. चलिए, रेस्ट ऑफ अस. दिस डाइट is a way of eating based on traditional cuisines of countries bordered or bordering the Mediterranean Sea. Fine. I just got one link to start with. This diet is a way of eating which is based on this, on that. Probably for this diet I can use it, and the additional information can be kept for later. The diet is a way of eating which is based on this and that. It primarily, okay, that's the primary emphasis. That means we can have secondary or third or additional emphasis also. Done, done, done. It primarily emphasizes plant-based foods like this or that or that. Fine. Next, healthy fats like this. Fish and poultry are included. Regular physical are others. I will start with B and will put A later on. Maybe the second, maybe the third, maybe the fourth also. Fortunately have just one option starting with B and putting A at the end, confirming we are correct. Otherwise, we could have ambiguities. Doubts welcome. वो मेरा भी गलत है भाई। आपने जो कहा मेरे भी दो ही गलत हैं। आरसी मैंने सॉल्व नहीं किया, लाइव सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ आपके साथ। अभी जो आप कह रहे थे वही है, मेरा आंसर भी वही था, टोटल एम्बिग्विटी, और वही मैंने भी कहा था। वो फीडबैक तो मेरी तरफ से जाएगा, ये वाला आपकी तरफ से चला जाएगा। Okay, let's be unanimous. Himlata saying C, the rest of us B, probably. Or A, D. Okay, A, B. No, we are not unanimous. Okay. Mesopotamian societies made significant contributions to law, literature, mathematics with the code. Uh, just a sec. Of this being one of the earliest written legal codes that influenced. Located between this and that, this reason cannot be the first one. B can never be the first one, because which reason you have to define first. Despite the decline, the legacy continues. That's a sentence in the present tense. I'll use it later. The ancient civilization of Mesopotamia. Across the passage, we are discussing the same stuff, often referred to as descriptive statement, was home to some of the earliest known societies. This. Writing, agriculture, we are also referring to the same again. Writing, agriculture, law, agriculture, mathematics. Great, great. I think we can start with D, because throughout the passage we are talking about Mesopotamia. And then we can take A later on. Okay, options please. D and then A in none of the options. D and then B. Okay, that's a better choice. No problem. No problem. Located between this and that, this reason, fine, that reason. Okay. What I was saying, maybe DAB or DBA, no problem. We started in past defining history, but the last sentence emphasis on C. Either DBA or DAB, no problem. C is that present tense. Since then, it is still, feel this, D in the past tense. It was home to some of that. B in the past tense. This region saw the rise of. A in the past tense. Made contributions to this or that or that. C in the present tense. Despite the decline, the legacy continues to influence modern civilization. C the last, D the first, done. Yes, this reason is a better choice. Yep. A cannot be the first one. Since then, C cannot be the first one. This finding, D cannot be the first one. The implications of this discovery, B has to be the first one. But a couple of options with B. Now options confirming B, C have to be together, because in both the options we have B, C. Let me read B, C. I'll get half of the passage. You have your answer. I'm marking mine in a few minutes. All of us unanimously? Okay. The discovery of the structure of DNA by James Watson from Australia, remember? And revolutionized our understanding of biology and genetics, laying the foundation of countless breakthroughs in medicine and biotechnology. B and C then. This finding, which was built upon the work of many scientists before them, revealed this or that. Once again, time and tense will help. One statement is still in past tense, one is used in present tense. The implications of the discovery were profound. Past, past, past. Since then, since the discovery, advancements have continued to push forward. I would say this time is the last one. B, C defined by them. So D should be here, obviously. B, C, D, A. Answer. Yes, Mohini, A should be last. Vaishnavi, we made a mistake. Leo, lovely. Avijit with a better choice. Yes. Um, every day, billions of cells in the body die, some passing away dramatically, others more quietly. Talking about cells die every day. Cells can die accidentally due to injury or infection, or they may face a more controlled demise if they outlive their purposes. The precise, okay, I don't remember the answer, just going ahead. D, A should be together. Now checking. The precise, okay, we have just one. No, we have two options. But DA is there in one. Let me check with their preference. C. In such cases, the body often triggers a process, probably this one, outliving their purposes, called this, where the cell self-destructs in an orderly way, avoiding any harm to the surrounding tissues. Okay. The precise programmed death, okay, this is the precise programmed death, no problem, ensures that the cell's remains are effectively cleared away, maintaining the health and so yeah, without any harm, maintaining the health, no problem. Done. Done. Holding tightly onto something, keeping an opinion in a determined way is tenacious. I hope you remember the straight one word. Now, battle, am battled. So the one who is fighting will or may have problems. Battled. Fumble. I was saying this, but I'm sorry. Now I can't fumble intentionally. I know you know when somebody speaks, but he pronounces or mispronounces sometimes, his tongue slips and he pronounces something instead of something. That is supposed to be fumble. Okay, I was supposed to take this, but I broke that. That is also fumble. The first one is also a synonym of embattled, with a lot of problems and difficulties. But that was holding on to something, tenacious, stubborn, firm, not yielding, adamant. To confuse or annoy. Remember, a number of times we have come across that's a vexing question. This is creating problems for us. This question is creating problems for us. So vexing question, confuse, annoy, for sure. Crux, I hope you remember, that's the crux of the passage, the main sum and substance of the passage, the theme of the passage, that way. So can't be to confuse. Stayed, complacent, a form of, one of the forms of stay, staying there, stayed, that way. A derivative of this, honestly. Placate is to, okay, no problem, no problem. Pacify, not to, yes, crux is important, crucial, absolutely, absolutely. So just one option to confuse and annoy. Vexing question, there's an idiom also. Spell check, asked, quiet, yes, to calm down, placate. Selena. Crux of the passage. Here in this context, the meaning is to, or something which is increasing. Pensions were wiped out by the increasing inflation, rapidly increasing, rapidly increasing. Spelling is GALLOP, so eliminated, eliminated, no IENG exists in English, either this or that, this. GALLOP is the correct spelling. Abstruse, you know this. I don't know the answer, but I can eliminate. Obvious cannot be abstruse because abstruse is not clear. Evident is visible, cannot be not clear. Apparent is visible, cannot be not clear. So all in all, the first one has to be the answer. Obviously, recondite, the synonym of abstruse. Lex, I'm sure you have gone through this. Enigma, perplex. That's obscure. Obscure, abstruse. Recondite, enigmatic, confounding, confusing, perplexing. I need to mark the antonym of lex. Antonym. First of all, the meaning of the word is this. Lex is loose. Now, slack clothes, loose clothes. No, my parents don't mind anything such. They have the liberty, they are giving me that liberty. They don't care any. Negligent, synonymous. Strict parents, the only antonym. Yes. Yes, that could be lenient. Loose. Yep, yep, yep. Destroyed in seconds. Will have completed in the past tense will be would have completed. Had, would, would. Just one option. Done. Need not read the whole sentence. Hmm. Obviously. Either you know the word commend or you know recommend. No problem. Double M has to be there. Done and dusted. COMM. Solicitude is all correct. Shrugging is all correct. Evidently is all correct. Or evident, shrug, solicitude, all correct. Just double M needed. Okay, let's go live again, solving with you. When a person performs an act of euthanasia, she brings about the death of another person because she believes the letter's present existence is so bad he would be better off dead, or believes that unless she intervenes and ends his life will be pretty soon so bad that he would be better off dead. Accordingly, the motive of the person who performs an act of euthanasia is to benefit the one whose death is brought about. This also holds for many instances of physician-assisted suicide. What I know, euthanasia is from EU, which has the meaning good, thanatos, death. So good death. Explicitly defining that person who is so painful, or who, I'm sorry, not who is going through so much pain, he is better off dead. So this is physician-assisted suicide, but the use of the latter term is usually restricted in forms of assistance, which stop short of the physician bringing about the death of the patient. For example, those involving means they have to be activated by the patient. It's important to emphasize the motive of benefiting the person who is assisted to die because well-being is a key value in relation to the morality of euthanasia. However, the defensibility of the contention that someone can be better off dead has been the subject of extensive philosophical deliberation. Those who claim that a person can be better off dead believe this is to be true when the life that remains in prospect for that person has no positive value for her. Whereas some of those who hold that a person's life is inviable deny that a person can ever be better off dead. Debate about the morality and legality of voluntary euthanasia, that is, with those instances of euthanasia in which a clearly competent person makes a voluntary and enduring request to be helped to die, or by extension when an authorized proxy makes a substituted judgment by choosing in the manner the no longer competent person would have chosen had he remained competent, has been for the most part a phenomenon of the second half of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century. Okay. Certainly, the ancient Greeks and Romans did not believe that life needed to be preserved at the cost of, and were in consequence tolerant of suicide when no relief could be offered to a dying person, or in the case of when a person no longer cared for his life. In the 16th century, Thomas, in describing a utopian society, had the vision such a community as one that would facilitate the death of those whose lives had become burdensome as a result of torturing and lingering pain. But it has only been in the last 100 years that there have been concerted efforts to make legal provision for the voluntary euthanasia. Until quite recently, there had been no success in obtaining such a legal provision, though assisted suicide, including but not limited to physician-assisted suicide, has been legally tolerated in Switzerland for a number of decades. However, the outlook changed dramatically in the 70s and 80s because of a series of court cases in the Netherlands, which culminated in an agreement that between the legal and the medical authorities to ensure that no physician would be prosecuted for assisting a patient to die as long as certain guidelines were strictly adhered to. In brief, the guidelines were established to permit physicians to practice voluntary euthanasia. In those instances in which a competent patient had made a voluntary and informed request to be helped to die, The patient's suffering was unbearable. There was no way of making that suffering bearable that was acceptable to the patient, and the physician's judgments as to diagnosis and prognosis were confirmed after consultation with another physician. Cool. Okay, I read your comments now. Bhavna has a perfect answer. If you watch cricket, or especially the Australian cricketers, or any cricketer not from India, you usually hear them. So what was the decision, or what was going on in your mind at the time? Actually, I was so surprised, and I wasn't sure about that. Raising their shoulders. So you are a female asking this question. Remember, one of the clothings we have is shrug also. We wear shrugs. Females better relate to that. No problem, Bubbly. Take care. I know time goes up. I had to shift my class because it happens. Either I have to adjust this or that. No problem. Yes, the author distinguishes between euthanasia and physical assisted suicide by stating your answer first. I'm also live. In my opinion, I'm also reading that. You are correct. Actually, I know this topic, so I can relate a little better, but still from the passage, not a test of GS. Euthanasia, yes, the straight line. So when a person performs euthanasia, must be a doctor, must be a physician, she brings about the death of another person. Done. Euthanasia, a physician can perform the death of another person. He or she can kill. I shouldn't use such words, but what about this assistant one? Physician assisted suicide. Here, yes, it stops the physician bringing about the death of the patient. The physician cannot force you or assist. He just assists the person to die. He doesn't kill the person. She brings about the death. Now, she does not bring about the death of the person. She assists. Doubts welcome. Euthanasia is always illegal. It's not asking legal or illegal. What's the difference between them? Euthanasia involves the physician directly causing death, whereas a physician assisted provides the means for the patient to self do everything. Yes, it's written to be activated by the patient. So yes, for the patient has to self administer. By the patient, he has to. No objection. B should be correct. Euthanasia requires a competent patient's request, whereas physician assisted suicide can be performed. No. How dare you say that? Unconscious? Never. That's a recent concept that has been practiced for centuries. It's not mentioned in the passage. I think yes. What's inviolable in the passage? Yes, it was there. Inviolable. Some of those who hold that a person's life is inviolable deny that a person can never be. You can feel from the words. Some believe that a person's life is inviolable. You can't violate with a person's life. Can never be off dead. You can't kill a person. No, it's not violence. It's violated that way. That's a positive statement actually. That's a positive statement. Because the previous one is negative. Life remains in prospect for that person has no value for her. Whereas some believe a person's life is precious, I would say. Fragile? No. Negotiable? No. Temporary? No. Sacred. Precious. Yes. Yes. The previous statement was positive, that life has no positive value for her. That means it has value for the person. Sacred. The rest of those are negative. Which of the following identifies the tense used predominantly in the passage? Everywhere you can see that. Simple present. What? When a person performs, she brings. The motive is present indefinite. With stop, indefinite. It's important, indefinite. Those who claim, indefinite. Deny, indefinite. That is indefinite. Makes, indefinite. Why? Even the topper got that wrong. I didn't touch. What's their answer? No. You can't say that predominantly in the passage. One more typical SSC feeling. No. I will provide the feedback. No, no, no. If I had attempted the test, third would have been wrong here. Third wrong. Because I would still answer simple present. No, 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 no. We'll pass the feedback. No problem. The passage acknowledges the difficulty in defining unbearable suffering. This creates a challenge for legalizing euthanasia because thank you so much. I know it takes more than 1 hour to finish this test because of those 3 RCs. Quick. Hmm. Here, they are talking about suffering was unbearable or suffering is bearable, and you can feel this. Um, Agreement between legal medical authorities to ensure no physician will be prosecuted for assisting a patient to die as long as some. In brief, the guidelines were established to permit them to practice in those instances in which a competent patient had made a voluntary and informed request to be helped, where he thinks it's unbearable. There's no way to make that bearable as per the patient, and the physician's judgment were confirmed after consultation with another physician. It's impossible to ensure all patients requesting euthanasia are genuinely suffering unbearably. It disregards the potential for future we are not talking about future medical investments. No, 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 no. B cannot be the strict guidelines for euthanasia become complex is not the tone of the passage. Public opinion becomes too divided for legal. No, 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 no. Yes, at least this is because the rest of those are totally irrelevant. We are not talking about future in the passage. Not saying this is complex, not even saying public opinion matters. It's all about the opinion of the physician or the one who wants to, or another physician. I would click ek and the first one, and unfortunately, that's correct. Fortunately, that's correct. Doubts welcome. What is the correct? Okay, that's a different passage now. The securities market regulator has said it's working on real-time settlement of transactions in India's stock exchanges. Settlement is a two-way process that involves the transfer of funds and securities on the settlement date. As of now, there's a lag between trade and settlement, as the settlement date is different from the trade date. Trade settlement is set to be complete once purchased securities of a listed company are delivered to the buyer and the seller gets the money. The current cycle of T+1 in India means the trade related settlements happen within a day or within 24 hours of the actual transaction. The migration to the T+1 cycle came into effect in January. India became the second country to start the T+1 settlement cycle in top listed securities after China, bringing operational efficiency, faster fund remittance, share delivery, and ease for stock market participants. SEBI has said it's working on a plan for instantaneous settlement of trades in the securities market. Same day T plus O settlements of trades will be possible with the RTPS, real-time payment system, UPI, online depositories, and technology stack. Under the current T plus 1, if an investor sells securities, the money gets credited into her account the following day. Under the T plus 0, instantaneously, and the buyers will get the shares in their demat accounts the same day. SEBI chairperson said the shift to instant trade settlement would need some more work. If goes smoothly, then the next step is instantaneous settlement. March this year, SEBI approved a framework for an application supported by blocked amount like facility for trading in the secondary market, aimed at safeguarding investors' money, which is stockbrokers, and also at bringing transparency. What does the current settlement cycle in India Stock Exchange mean? You can answer this. Hello. As of now, my camera went off. I need 5 seconds. You got it. As of now, um, settlements happen within a day or within 24 hours. Trades settle within 24 hours. Done. What is the regulator SEBI working on for the securities market? Done. First line of the paragraph. SEBI has said it's working on a plan for instantaneous settlement of trades. Done. First line, instantaneous. And the question is also the same. SEBI is working on. Identify the type of sentence used in. SEBI has said it's working on a plan for instantaneous settlement of trades in the security market. Same day, T+0 settlement of trades will be possible with the RT and this and this and that. Done. I agree that what you think is correct. You see one statement here, SEBI has said it's working on this. Next statement start here, same day or this will be possible with the help of that. But we forgot that we have three sentences here. SEBI has said what? That it's working on a plan for this and that. So you have a subject and verb combination here, independent clause, but that's totally dependent on that. We have a full stop, not even a comma or a conjunction. It's quite ambiguous again. I may be wrong, no problem. We've gone wrong twice. But it can't be compound because this statement itself has a couple of sentences, one dependent, one independent. If I include this also, but that's not even one sentence. Same day will be possible with this or that. No, it can't be compound because of this. Can't be simple, can be complex or compound complex. But there is no conjunction here. Otherwise, I would have said compound complex here. God's grace. What's that? Even the topper got this wrong. Whoa. SEBI has said it's working on this or that. This is a complex sentence. Complex contains one dependent, independent. SEBI has said, and it is working. Done. So they are not talking about the next sentence, I think, because there is no conjunction. They are not talking about the next sentence then, because there's no conjunction, and that's not one sentence. There are two different sentences. That's a simple one, that's a complex one. Correct. Okay, if not, feel free to ask. What is the condition mentioned by SEBI chairperson for shifting to instant trade settlement? Compound complex would have three sentences, brother. The same sentence had and. SEBI has said it will be doing this and this and that. That would have been compound complex. Condition mentioned by SEBI. The SEBI chairperson said that conditional clause you can see here, if you work hard you will succeed. quick. It's 1 hour 30 minutes today. Obviously, if ASBA goes smoothly, we can have that instantaneous smooth operation of ASBA. Not UPI specifically, it had 3 more points, so not just UPI. No online depositors here. SEBI chairperson said, SEBI chairperson said, if this goes, that's the conditional clause. That's it. I forgot this. No problem. Modern life is a nerve-wracking, blank space experience with new sources of anxiety being introduced on a daily basis. Done. Obviously, invigorating is full of energy, but the sentence is not defining full of energy. Nerve wracking, so some negative option should be here. Anxiety, new sources of anxiety every day, no motivation here. Invigorate is a positive option, motivate is a positive option, exciting is a positive option. E, nerves, out of nerves. E, nerves, draining, the only option possible. The police tampered with the evidence and thus the blank space of the case was compromised. Tampered with the evidence can compromise the... No, hate here. First of all, after the article, we need a noun. Obviously, if police tampered with the evidence, changed the evidence, now you can't verify. Verify. Justify is a verb, we need noun. Juvenile court is an adjective, we need a noun. Jejune, adjective, we need a noun. ITY. Purity, surety, veracity, truthfulness, if you tamper with the evidence. And the intense debate, blank space, various perspectives on climate change. Yes. Debate cannot suspect. No. Suspect is that word. I suspect that something's wrong. I suspect. Debate cannot suspect. Exactly. Suspect, I suspect, you suspect, debate cannot suspect. Amalgamation is to combine things together. Okay, various perspectives on climate change and impact on global systems, but the intense debate, amalgamation, we can't combine all the perspectives on climate change. Things are different, so not accepted in terms of the context. Intense debate achieved perspectives, come on. It raised, it increased, put forth, raised various perspectives on climate change. Accentuate, to raise those perspectives, opinions of people out there in the debate. Yes, amalgamation is combination, combine. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much for being here. Would love to see you pretty soon, and thanks a lot again and again. One can grab these two, whichever suitable. These two have recently started. Foundation batch for 2026 and for tier 2 the crash course. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Be safe, everybody here. Thanks a lot. No, Mohini, that was a test I had to finish completely. So until it finishes, I had to be here. Otherwise, 1 hour. Okay. Thank you so much, Hemlata. Hey dear. Thank you, Mohini, Saloni, Vaishnavi, Nancy. Yes. Thanks a lot. Take care. Be safe.